Hi, I'm Sydney Radka, and welcome to another edition of FLX Weekly here at FingerLakes1.com. It is November 9th, 2022, and we are live inside the FingerLakes1.com studio, where I'm joined by Jim Sinicropi, Felecia Dombrowski, and a special guest. We have Anthony and Ginny DeMillo of Simply Homemade, and we're going to talk everything about your business. I'm so excited. Today's show is brought to you by Madej, Mears, and Ricky, LLP, a full-service law firm committed to bringing you the highest quality legal services in the Finger Lakes region. They have offices in Seneca Falls and Geneva. We have experience and resources to meet all our clients' needs. That's the one we're familiar with, is right downtown Seneca Falls.
There are lawyers.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And also incredible personal injury attorneys. So when you have a personal injury situation, a lot of times you might think of calling like William Mattar or something. Your hometown personal injury attorneys are the
That's
Madej,
right.
Mears, and Ricky.
Madej, Mears, and Ricky. They've been around forever. It said they had over 200 years of combined experience in the office, which is
It's a
awesome.
long time.
Yeah. But anyways, welcome officially to the FLX studio. We're
Thank
happy
you.
to have you guys.
So happy to have you.
We're also even more happy because we see they brought us some treats that I wasn't sure if they were going to bring us, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Couldn't
First
skip
things
that
first.
little subtle hint there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really unique business that has been really very popular. I hear a lot of people talk about it.
Yeah.
We've had participated in one of your hands-on cooking classes slash dinners before. So, fill us in on, everything you have to offer.
I'll start by saying, I want you to go to the very beginning. When did Simply Homemade come about, and was this something that you guys planned on doing all of your life, or was it just a spur of the moment?
It wasn't really spur of the moment. I knew I wanted to do something when I retired. So a friend of mine, her daughter said, "Oh, I want Ginny to teach me how to make bread," which still has not happened. But, so I kind of got the idea of doing cooking classes. It would kind of be a fun thing to do. And then Anthony and I talked about it, and we kind of got started and just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, it definitely has grown.
Yeah.
So you have always enjoyed cooking, I'm
I
sure.
have,
And when you
yes.
talked about retiring, you were a high school teacher for how many years?
Oh my gosh, way too many to count.
I would say enough that you
Yeah.
were all of our teachers, correct?
Yeah, and
I
I taught-
graduated in 1990.
Well,
Wow.
and I taught 2 years before I moved here.
Oh,
Oh
my
my gosh.
goodness.
Yes, yes.
Actually, a real quick funny story is, she came in 1980, or 1981, and mind her, she started teaching.
Wow.
I graduated in 1980. She actually could have had me as a teacher.
I really don't think you
Oh
needed to add
my
that part to the story.
Wow, that's awesome though. And so you went from being a math teacher to now owning a business where you're still teaching in a
Yes.
way, but in a completely different way.
Very true. A lot of people think when they hear that I was a teacher that I was a home ec teacher.
Yeah,
But
of course.
No, I was math, and that really blows their mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, because you got to be able to do fractions, even though most of my students never thought they would. Just thought I'd put that in there. I love doing little math lessons with the students, with the little kids too, when they're doing classes. Like, okay, so if we need half a teaspoon, how much?
Oh.
do we
I don't
use?
Google that stuff at all, so.
I wouldn't be very good at that, that's for sure. But take us through an experience, because you say it's not just a cooking class, it's not just you guys making food, it's a food experience.
It
So
is.
walk us through if we were to come to a class.
I'm kind of the verbalization end of it.
Yes.
When people first get there, I go over the rules, whatever the case may be, what we've got going on. But I don't really call it a cooking class. It's kind of an eating experience is what it is. That's the reason the building, our certified kitchen, was built, to give people a choice of coming out there and not having to worry about, oh my God, what am I going to order? What do I got to get? The waitress is hovering over you, whatever the case may be. It's all planned ahead of time. Everything's all set. Now, if you take the cooking experience end of it, that basically is you pick the menu, you tell us how many people. When you get there, I tell everybody, it's the same spiel every time I go through it. You guys will be making your food, and you guys will be eating your own food. We're there. She's very diligent. She'll go through, I think Pinterest is her new friend.
Yeah,
It's
as it
not new.
should be. Yeah.
She has all of the recipes. She researches them. She does all the legwork for it. And then all we do is we just put them out on the table. You guys pick what spot you want to go to. And then we're just there to oversee and make sure hey, if you need a teaspoon, or if you need something that's got to go. That's how it all works out. And then at the end, it's all set up as a buffet style. You guys, there's no time limit. You can stay there 2 hours, you can stay there 4 hours, 6 hours a little much.
Starts
You can
flashing
stay
the
there.
lights there.
And before the building was built, or before the facility was built, whatever you want to call it, we would go to other places, and Jim has an experience with that,
Yeah.
where we'll
was
go to
awesome.
your house if you have whatever, if you want us to come to you, and that's how it all came about. She knew she wasn't a welcome to Walmart or a winery type of person. Or
After
any type of-
retirement,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. She knew she wasn't that type of person, so this is where it all headed. And she did want to stay with kids, working with young adults, children, former students, whatever the case may be. And the thing that really kind of launched everything and took off was being a teacher for so long, she has a ton of former students, so you see them everywhere.
And I
So-
love seeing them again in a cooking class, because I think I'm never going to have them in class again, you know, at the end of the
Yeah.
school year. And then I get to see them, and they walk through the door. They come to pick up their kids that
And
just did a
that's the-
cooking class. It's just fun.
And they're probably a little more grown up, maybe a little more mature since you had us in class.
Hopefully a little bit, right?
Yes.
It was maybe 4 years ago now that we did that, but
Pretty close.
you guys came out to a friend of ours' house, and there was 4 couples, I think, and it was awesome. I never did anything like that before, but it was all like segmented, and within our friend group, there's some people that never cook, and there were some people that cook quite a bit. And so I remember I was tasked with making the pasta from scratch, which is probably the hardest part of it.
Yeah.
But everybody had such a great time, and then, you know, you almost forget that you're going to have dinner, you know, because you're so involved in making, everybody's making their part.
Right.
And then we sat down and had dinner, and the food was amazing, and everybody was impressed with what everybody else made, you know.
Because you guys make it.
Yeah,
so
everybody,
you
you
feel good
guys
about
didn't
it.
do anything except
Yeah.
like kind of instruct.
Oversee if
Yeah,
need be.
yeah. So, and it was a really fun night. It was something definitely unique to do. And I'm thinking about you guys talking about your kitchen now. We got to come back and do it again at your place.
Is that set up? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely got to make a point this winter to do that.
It's
'cause
still
it
good.
was-
Plus another thing, because I remember you had made pasta before to some degree. Yeah, so like if you want to make it your own, you don't have to follow our directions. You know, everything's there, but we have had people that have already cooked, they have experiences, and they might like a different seasoning or something in whatever they're making it. And so we let them do that. You know, it's very flexible. They can do it the way we say, or they can do it the way they want, and it's all fine.
So you said that people get to choose their own food.
Yes.
Do you have like a list, or how does that work?
No, we really don't, which is very frustrating for some people. But it's like we suggest that they go on Facebook and look at our pictures.
Yes.
Simply Homemade.
I always look at your picture.
I
I
suggest
got
not
my
to do
badge on Facebook as your top fan.
did you?
Yeah, you can. I suggest not to do that because I just did that,
And she was very
I'm
hungry after,
I'm
so.
not kidding. I'm so hungry, and I made sure to say like, do they have a menu? Because you just see so
don't.
many different things. So
But it's
like-
also like, for me, like I said, you know, before we started the show, I want to learn how to make pasta. I'm not good at it. So things that might be more difficult for you and having you there to
Yeah.
assist would be great for people, I feel.
Like gnocchi, we learned how to make them too because his nephew knew
My
how.
nephew.
So he came out and he taught me, and then I've taught it 2 or 3 times since then. So we learn different. We learn as much as everybody else learns, you know.
Yeah. Of course.
And we don't have a menu because it's that school teacher in me. You know, every 40 minutes that bell rings, you get a different group. You have a different subject. I'm not a different subject, but a different topic the next day. So I like the variety. Sometimes it's a little insane because of the variety, but I like finding different foods, coming up with recipes, researching it.
Have you had, okay, well, actually, I have so many questions.
I know, me
If
too.
somebody wants to book with you guys, how do they go about doing that? Like the process of how much time do they need to tell you how many people, what the menu is going to be, how long does that take?
Well, sometimes it goes fast and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on whether they need a set date or whether like, whatever we can work in, we do. We don't have set days that we work. We don't have set times that we work. So it's really their schedule.
So late, yeah,
Yeah,
so
it is,
opposite.
because we don't have any guideline. You know, it can be whatever, as long
Yeah.
as we don't already have someone booked for that time. And then, yes, they pick whatever menu they want. If we're doing the cooking, it can be as many things as they want, whatever they want. If it's a cooking class, it's usually limited to 5 items, and it usually takes about an hour to cook it and an hour to eat it. So it's usually a 2-hour experience.
Wow.
Sometimes it goes over, sometimes it goes under. Depends on how fast they work. But
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you get the food? Do you
Yes.
provide the?
We provide,
Okay.
like, when they come into the kitchen, The recipes are there, hopefully with everything they need, and the foods they need for it, and they come in, and yes, they make everything. We provide everything. They just have to come.
So do you have people always saying like, what's your suggestion? Or do you offer like, do you say like, here, a main course, have an appetizer, a side, like do you offer your help and guidance?
Suggestions. It's hard to guide because I don't know what people like.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
people like certain things and don't like certain things. So that's why I kind of leave it open to them. But sometimes they don't want it that open.
Yeah.
So then I try to.
The bigger group you get too, the harder that becomes, because you
Yeah.
might have one person that has an allergy or one
Right.
person who absolutely won't eat a mushroom.
Right.
You know, things like that.
Can't imagine, but we've had them. But yeah, but like tomorrow, we're doing a gluten-free cooking class. Because, and this is the third time this group has come because the mother and 2 of the kids, I think, are gluten-free. So we try to make everything gluten-free.
That's
Plus it has
awesome.
a Star Wars theme to it, so.
Oh, you can do theme.
I didn't-
whole other
You
level.
can do theme. We've done
Yeah.
themes before too. What did she do last time with the theme? She brought her, not nursery school, but little kids that she watches,
Yeah.
they came. It wasn't Star Wars, it was something else that's similar to that.
When you
But it
do
was-
that as a theme, do you get like themed plates and napkins, or do you do themed food that might be
It's
related?
themed food. See,
Okay.
she does really all the work for it because she even gave all these things special names.
Oh, okay.
She
Oh,
did
I
all
love
would make
it.
And
sense
she tells me
to-
the food, yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to find gluten-free versions of it.
Oh,
Which she
okay.
does that sometimes too. But,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
which
She makes it easy for
she
you.
Does. She lets me tweak it. She did not come up with gluten-free donuts. I still have to find one of those for tomorrow. So.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
That's cool too, especially if you do involve, it seems like a lot of kids, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been seeing more on your Facebook, all kids cooking classes. Are you like hooked up with the schools, that the schools like do field trips with you now, or is it just like more
not the-
birthday parties?
Not the public school. It's more birthday parties, but the Christian school.
Okay.
They've come, and they're coming again for Christmas time to do some kind of a Christmas theme.
Down on Route 89? I
Yeah.
think? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
We
So
got-
you do more birthday parties for
It's
kids?
usually
Yeah.
for little kids, but it doesn't have to be. It can
Yeah.
be whatever they want.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I just have noticed a lot. I didn't know if it was something that you had. I feel like I even saw some school teachers that were there doing it with
There
some of
have
the
been,
kids.
yes. There's the Youth Scoop, Seneca County Youth Scoop. They've been coming. They're doing a series of cooking classes with it for 6 weeks. So it's
Cool.
like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then the last one will be Thanksgiving.
Wow.
And we did some other preliminary things before that. So yeah.
So people can pretty much be like open and as creative as they want, and you guys will do your absolute best to make it happen.
So
for
make it
them.
happen for them. You got it right. Yep.
And aside from all the experiences that you do in-house, you also cater as well, right?
we do.
I remember I used to work at the rec center, and you would cater those lunches, and I
Yes.
feel like that was a long, long time ago, maybe before you even had Simply Homemade.
I don't remember. I was still teaching, I know, for some of that, going
Yeah,
back in and
you
subbing.
would. So this has always been in your blood, I feel
Yeah,
like. But you can cater, and people can kind of do the same thing. Then they can pick what they want, like what size pans they want, all of that.
Yeah, if they want to do it that way, yeah.
So do you have a lot going on for the holidays usually?
We do. I don't know how many turkeys we're cooking, but there's a lot of them.
That's a good
That's
segue
nice.
because this is an opportunity. Felicia, you're cooking Thanksgiving dinner
I
this year.
am.
I'm cooking
First time.
Thanksgiving dinner.
I'm eating Thanksgiving dinner.
And I've done it, I've cooked several years now, and I actually think Thanksgiving dinner is kind of easy. A lot of people stress out about it.
I
You
know.
can make a lot of stuff in advance, and then you just got to get up early to get the turkey in the oven. But is there any tips for the turkey? Let's start with the turkey.
Okay, let's talk about the turkey. Can I say something first? You maybe you
No,
want to.
go ahead.
But I don't know if you want to. That getting up early, put the turkey in the oven, I personally hate getting up early, even though I must say in our new kitchen you can see the sunrise and it really is very pretty, but I'd still rather be sleeping
Love
or
that.
reading my book. But if you spatchcock that turkey, it cooks in half the time.
So, what, spatchcock?
Spatchcock,
Spatchcock.
you cut the backbone out of it, you
Oh,
cut
yeah,
down
yeah,
both
yeah.
sides of it,
Yep.
you flatten it out, and so it's a flatter surface. It's not, it's just an
Not the
easier
first.
I'm
shape
writing
to
this
cook.
down.
Yeah.
Write it on a
Easier to
napkin.
carve
I
that
have-
way,
Easier
too,
to
right?
carve, easier to cook, faster, yep.
And
all
you
that.
seldom, like I've never
Spatchcock.
took the turkey out of the oven and you see in like, TV shows, they bring it right out to the table, the whole turkey.
Right.
Nobody does that. You carve it in
Oh,
the kitchen.
yeah, like in
Yeah.
the movies when the fresh turkey's on the table.
Yeah, it is really
Dad
pretty.
carves it up right at the table. That doesn't happen usually.
Sit there with your knife and fork. So you just gave us like a really big tip that I've never heard of. That's for
Yeah,
sure. Are
I'm
you gonna
excited
try
because
it?
we have a whole Thanksgiving morning routine. And I was a little stressed about it because I still wanted to, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah,
hang out with everybody, but
It's about
now,
half the time.
okay,
When you spatchcock a turkey, it'll take about half the time that it does in the normal.
yeah.
And all the skin gets crispy because there's nothing underneath. It's fine.
love
You don't
it.
have to flip it over, because I remember my mom used to like start it on the breast and then flip it over. I never did that because all the skin sticks and then everything.
Right.
But doing it this way, it's flattened out, skin up. And also another tip, if you do it the night before, get it spatchcocked, laid out, season it, stick it in the refrigerator uncovered on a lower shelf because, you know, you've got the raw turkey there. It dries the skin out and the meat becomes moister.
Ooh.
Are
So
you-
if, yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So I was talking to him about this the other day. If I have I have won 2 frozen turkeys
Okay.
at a raffle,
gotta
how
love those
far
turkey
ahead
raffles.
do I take it out?
I think they said, I don't remember, it's like 4 pounds per day, but it depends on your refrigerator if it's going to thaw out. I always panic. I get it out
Yeah.
a couple days ahead of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I won't say what I do
Right.
sometimes if it isn't thawed out. But you can put it in water.
Nope, we're not
And
gonna.
You can put it in water, cold water, and then that thaws it faster also in the sink.
So the
Okay.
turkeys that you're making and catering for everybody, do you do the spatchcock thing for every single one of them?
Most
No,
of the time.
yeah,
Well,
most of, actually, last year, we did so many turkeys, we did it everywhere. We deep fried it.
We
Each,
do that too.
each family and
It's
each
fun.
stuff, like you say, busy or whatever. We have a family that comes out the day before Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving. We have a family that's always there every Thanksgiving at the building itself. And then we have a family that we do delivery for the next day, and then a family that we do a delivery the day after that. So we've done turkeys.
They're in the book for as long
every-
as we're
right,
catering.
for as long
Oh,
I
so
love
every
it.
year
They're
though,
booked.
they've been
Yep.
coming back.
So if you
Yeah.
want a Thanksgiving one, you're out of luck. So that's 4, 5,
We
6
do a few
years.
drop-offs if we can, if it's small enough.
Smaller ones.
So
So
when you do spatchcock the turkey, like, you can't stuff the cavity anymore. So
No.
how do you
I just do it in a
compensate that?
We
pan.
do it in
So you'll just put herbs and spices underneath the turkey?
You can,
or-
yeah, whatever way you would spice it, you just put it underneath, yeah.
Okay.
And then just put the turkey over it. You could probably put the stuffing down there and put the turkey over it and cook it that way. I never have.
I don't necessarily like putting the stuffing in the body cavity, because I just think you can control
Yep.
the stuffing so much
Yeah.
better in its own.
Yeah.
They
But I
say
do
it's
put
not
a
as
lot
safe.
of citrus in. I usually,
Yeah.
oranges and lemons,
Yeah.
sage, thyme, just jam
Yeah.
it in there.
You can do all that. Or you can do it, if you have like a big Ziploc bag or whatever, you can put it in there and marinate it with all those things too ahead of time.
Oh.
Like for the day before if you want to.
Or it can all go underneath. Like when you,
Yeah.
how you actually spatchcock it is you take the backbone out, you flip it upside down, and then you just push on the
To
side
break
of
the
it, the
breast.
breastbone,
Spread it out.
to break it and snap it. So underneath it, you can take all your citrus stuff and you can put it underneath the turkey before you put it,
And
the
that's-
turkey on it, and it elevates it
It
up off
serves as a
the.
rack like for it, so you don't
Right.
have to put a rack under it.
Wow.
But for the most part, the
Yeah.
stuffing and stuff is all
Are you-
in there.
Separate.
you guys are very knowledgeable, obviously, as we
Learned a
can
lot.
see here.
Okay.
Yeah, you've learned, taught yourself on the way. But I have a funny question. So you're you're constantly cooking for everybody else. Say you do it all day, you go home. Are you guys cooking yourselves a full 4-course meal,
We're
or
going to dinner tonight, honey.
so
It's
is
really,
We do
it's
that more
really
than we
funny
used
you
to.
asked, Cindy, because that is something, it's kind of, all right, so out of a 7-day week, I'll just
Mm-hmm.
give you a quick example of how busy we were. For 2 months solid, it was 61 days, okay, 30 days in September, or whatever it is in 31. We were busy at least 54 of those days. We
Wow.
had something going on.
Right.
And it's, you're making food for everybody else, you're sitting down. 9 times out of 10, or 7 times out of 10, we'll grab a piece of chicken that's on the buffet itself, or something along those lines. But there's times that we just look at each other and we say, man, looks like it's Parker's
Enough
tonight."
cooking,
Yeah,
yeah.
right.
We don't want to cook anymore.
Chinese.
No. And you
and
don't really want to eat that stuff that you've been cooking
Right.
all day.
Listen,
either.
I really don't like eating my own food. Like, I love cooking for
Crazy,
other
girl.
people,
So crazy.
but by the time I'm done cooking, the last
Yeah.
thing I want to do is eat what I was cooking for
And
some
sometimes
reason.
you're sampling as you
Yes.
go too.
Yeah.
So you're not really hungry.
Exactly.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, I'm usually eating while I'm cooking, so I'm like, oh, I already had my meal, but I will eat it again.
Yeah.
And I always tell everybody this real quick. It's I mean, you can't really see me right now, but before we started cooking classes, because, you know, there's so many leftovers, there's so much everything, because most people, they'll take all the leftovers, they're all theirs.
Yeah.
We don't, what you make is
Yeah.
yours. So if you don't finish it, it goes home with you.
Which
But,
is awesome.
I mean, I only weighed 140 pounds before we started. So,
You know what? You're doing what you love. It doesn't feel like a
For the most
job,
part.
right?
That's
So
true. That's
you gotta
true.
embrace it all. Is there anything you don't like cooking? When somebody's like, "Oh, I picked this on the menu," and you're like, "No, not this again."
anything I gotta cook, I don't like doing. I'm only
Okay.
kidding,
He
I'm
does
only
have
kidding.
specialty things that a lot of people request, though. There
really.
are certain things that I don't like to make, but you know what? There were certain things I didn't like to teach in school, too.
Yeah.
And one time I got observed during one of them. You know, it's just part of life. You just suck it up and deal with it.
You're
It's all
right. There are
good.
definitely a lot of things in school I didn't want to
Yeah.
learn.
So if someone wants to book with you,
Yes.
how do they do that?
You can either call, our number's on our Facebook page,
Okay.
or you can email
What's your email address?
glott57@gmail.com.
And you can go right to Simply Homemade on
Yes.
Facebook
It's open to
and
the public. That's
Check out all of the photos.
And all the information there of how to contact us is also.
Awesome.
And we almost didn't even get to, you did make us some trees. Can you
We
tell us?
did.
Because I've just been smelling them the whole time. and they're
Okay, so we
inspiring.
have 3 kinds of sandwiches here that I kind of stuffed and baked it inside just because I felt like doing something different because that variety thing, you know?
Yeah.
So this is cranberry nut bread with turkey and Havarti in it.
Ooh.
And this is whole wheat bread with fresh mozzarella, roasted red peppers, and
It's like a caprese.
yeah, like a caprese thing with basil in it. And this is ham and cheese with rye bread.
And you,
Pass it over here. Let's There's one for each of us, right?
Yeah.
Which one
Here,
type
I got
you
some
guys want?
napkins.
I want to
for
try
us.
all, did you make this bread too, homemade?
That's my favorite thing to make. You didn't ask what my favorite thing is.
Oh,
it's bread.
it's bread?
It's bread.
Love
I
it.
love making bread. All
Hold
different
on, hold
kinds.
on.
Oh, we're
Don't
going to
get
try
trees.
it.
Try one of
Oh,
these.
Yeah.
Well, of
Which one
course.
do you want?
Oh, you only want, well,
Oh,
I'm taking them
okay.
all.
No, yeah,
for
we're doing
myself.
one.
Thank
They're all
you.
yours.
Yeah, we gotta
Thank
try
you
one
so
of these,
much.
That kind of
right?
leads into when you asked about, you know, there's the bread homemade. And I always tell everybody this because they always ask, oh, where did you buy this? Or where did you buy that? Or where did you get this? Or how did you do that? And I always say to everybody,
Oh, so
our
good.
name is Simply Homemade.
Right.
Everything that you, it's not that our food is any better than anybody else's. What it basically boils down to is, just before, if you cater an event, if you want an event with us at Outdoor Place, if it's at 6 o'clock, it was made at 5 o'clock. You know, when you make food just before people are ready to eat it, and it's not, you know, put in a freezer or put in a refrigerator, that's what makes it so good. So everything that you eat is made right then.
You can
for
tell.
that day.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, I've only had one bite in.
Me too. What one was this again?
That's a cranberry nut with turkey and
That's
Havarti.
So
The fact that the bread is homemade is what makes these.
Yeah.
For the most, you're right,
good,
Jim.
so
Yeah.
good.
I mean,
It's-
Crying tears of
This
joy.
is all the same recipe, I just tweak it a little bit differently for the different things, and it's a really simple bread recipe.
So I could call you and be like, hey, I want a pan of these for an appetizer for a party.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we'll do that, no problem. And every review I've seen has been amazing. People all say it's very reasonably priced too, and I'm sure that is hard with
Yeah.
inflation and
Has
everything
that
going
affected
on.
you a lot?
No, we haven't really
No.
changed our price since
No.
we started. It's just, I mean, we didn't ever do it to get rich or to even pay for
Right.
the place, you know, it's just something to do as a pastime. We thought once or twice a month we would be doing something, and instead of once or twice a month we'd have a
Once
day
or
off.
twice a
Yeah.
day.
But, you know, yeah, but it's just fun. But like, Monday.
Monday.
We did empanadas, so we actually made the empanada crust also for them. Sometimes when we do tacos, we make the flour tortillas, we make the corn tortillas, and it's so much different. You know,
Oh,
do
yeah.
we always do that for ourselves? We always make pasta? No. But it's fun and it is better.
I was just thinking to myself, man, I gotta maybe go out there and do something where you show me how to make bread. And then I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go out and have some empanadas. I'll do
right.
anything.
You should do
Me
a
too.
team building
I was just
activity.
thinking
It is
that.
great
That's
for
very
team building.
popular.
We have done that.
What a
That's
great
very popular.
idea.
Because you're all working together, and it,
Yes.
you know, it makes. When I first moved here, I worked at a winery, and the owner there was very into foods and wines and playing around with them and doing all that, and he really kind of got me started with the whole idea. And it's like it brings everybody together. Food does.
Oh,
Who doesn't
yeah.
love
Difference.
food?
Yeah.
You know?
There was
you
a
don't,
movie,
I'm sorry.
Beth's Feast. I don't know if anyone's heard it. It's a French movie, I think. And it brings the community together because they're kind of like at odds and fighting. And they had this big, huge meal, and they're like all friends kind of at the end of it, because we have people that come out and say, I'm not going to cook, I don't cook, you know. And so they watch, and the next thing you know, they're over there helping.
Get
and
their
doing it.
hands in
And
there.
then, it just brings everybody
They
together.
do.
It's a great experience. It
So
really is.
Simply Homemade should do that for America, to bring
Yeah.
everybody
Yeah.
together.
Bring everybody
That
together.
would
Yeah,
be
we'll just
great.
invite everybody. Expand those walls.
Especially after yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, that's really already all the time we have.
Oh my
but,
gosh.
Where is your, you call it a building or facility, where is that located?
Yep.
Yellow Tavern Road.
Yellow Tavern Road. 2194 Yellow Tavern Road, Waterloo, New York. If you GPS it, it'll bring it. It's really kind of weird. The easiest way to do it, Google Simply Homemade, put it in there, it'll bring you right
And
to
you
us.
can't miss that. I drive by a million times, and every time I do, I wonder what's going on in there, like what you're making, you know? I know there's something.
It's so pretty in the pictures, and so I'm just thinking of a million ways we could be like, all right, you know, Friendsgiving, well,
Yep.
like you
Oh,
said,
yeah.
Thanksgiving is pretty booked for you guys, so we can
Yep.
move it to Christmas giving or
Yeah,
something.
because I was going to host it, and then I'm like, hosting Friendsgiving and hosting Thanksgiving is just going to be too
There are two
overwhelming.
holidays.
Too overwhelming.
We will work every holiday. There are two holidays that I told her when we started the business that are completely off limits, and that is Christmas and it is New Year's Eve.
The
Rightfully
days,
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of
And
course.
those two holidays we have to ourselves because we have
Absolutely.
a table that seats 24 people at our main table.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so nice to be able to have my family and her family out and
Oh,
not have to
yeah.
have, you know, move 12 tables over, move your living room chair, you know.
Yeah.
We can just, everybody
All
sits
right
at
there.
the same table.
Together.
And that's one of the dining experiences that's always good, is nice because when you sit down to eat your food from either a catered event out at our place or
Mm-hmm.
a class out at our place, everyone sits at one table.
Yeah, I love that.
And it makes so much difference than when you're all at one table than compared to, you know, two tables over here, one table over there.
Of course.
And that's the reason that the certified kitchen was built, was because she had a vision in her mind that she wanted to make a comfy, nice, homey,
Mm-hmm.
antique place, rustic, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
So
it's
when people
beautiful.
always say, well, we're having a baby shower, can I come out and decorate? And one of the main rules is no glitter. Zero.
You heard it here first.
Yeah.
No glitter.
100%. But, and that's what you get when you come out to our place. You get a dining experience that is not like anything you've ever done. And real quick, you go drive by 100 times, people say the same thing. And I'm always amazed. We have the ring, so we know when people are coming. And when they hit that door and they open that door, it's always the funniest thing to watch their expression, because when they walk in, they go, wow, I didn't expect this.
Oh,
From looking
yeah.
from the outside to coming in the inside.
Yeah,
And it
people
all
said the
came from
pictures
her
don't
head.
do it justice, you know, because, I mean, to me, they're the same, but, you know,
Right.
when you walk into it, it's different than seeing a picture of it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's even better. More reasons for us to do it.
Just one quick question. I had great-grandparent mothers who cooked, and so I learned a lot from them. But then, really, probably in the 1990s, when Food Network started to come around, I watched Emerald a lot, and I watched Mario Batali a lot. Is there anybody that influenced either you in terms of, like, that you learned from?
I watch all of those same shows, and they've influenced me. My grandmother was a great cook, and my mother, not that she wasn't a good cook, but she let me just go in the kitchen and do whatever. She gave me total freedom.
That's
It didn't
cool, though.
always turn out well.
Yeah.
I mean, I did get the rule when I was like 8 years old that I could never have anyone else in the kitchen when I was cooking because it didn't go well. 3 squares of chocolate did not mean 3 cups, I learned. And when it says beat the egg whites, it means to truly beat them and get them fluffy because that angel food cake was like, but you know, so yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of people that have influenced me. The winemaker that I used to work for, he influenced me a lot. We all went to Europe with him, and so I got a lot of
Oh,
influence
wow.
there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've taken cooking classes in Italy, which is kind of neat, learning how to make the pasta. And I would
Absolutely.
love to go back. We've both talked about going back and, you
Yeah.
know,
It's on our
going
bucket
to
list.
some, you know, not the big cities, but a little town and actually
Yes.
immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
My first year of teaching, I was in South America, and it was like you live there and you just learn the different foods, and that was an experience
course.
for me. My parents used to still have a place in Florida, and I went down there and I met this Mexican lady, and she taught me how to make not pasta fazool, that's Italian. What's the Mexican with the hominy in it? Anyway, it's a Mexican soup, and it was really good, and I love it. And it's like, it's the authentic way of making it, which
Yeah.
is what I really like to learn. I mean, Pinterest teaches you all kinds of stuff, and Food Network teaches you all kinds of stuff, but when you actually go and you learn from
Oh,
Yes.
it's original, it's just different.
I think all the people that have taken your food courses experience would be okay with you going to Italy and learning more about what
We
you
don't
make.
have time.
Come
We don't
back.
have time.
We will give you that time so we
I
can
hope
learn
so.
even more.
Someday, hopefully.
And for me, one last thing I'll say for me is, growing up in an Italian family, you just always knew how to either cook or do dishes, one or the other. That's the way it was. It's just the way it was. But for me, and I'll get a little sappy here, my experience where I've learned a lot of it is from her.
Aww.
It
I never
really,
said that before.
I saved it for here. But
When it counts.
Yes.
right. And the last thing I'll say is, okay, talk about her being a teacher and her little idiosyncrasies, whatever the case may be. Our building was built. We have 2 windows, 2 eyebrow windows in our thing. If you ever want to drive a math teacher crazy, on our windows, when you come out, this window's got an electric outlet right below it, perfectly centered all the way through. This window here on the right-hand side, it's off-centered just a little bit. So when it gets to the point where it's a little irritating, and 'cause the kitchen's not big enough for both of us, when it gets a little tougher to eating, I say, something's wrong with that outlet right there. And it drives me nuts.
It does. It's not symmetric. When he takes pictures that aren't centered, it drives me nuts too. You know, it's just one of those
I
things.
feel like Felecia would feel the same,
Yeah.
a little bit of that OCD. But
Yeah,
Just a little.
just like that, we've learned so much more that I never even knew about you. It's so awesome what you guys do. Simply
you.
Homemade is the business. You can check out their Facebook page, of course, and you should really give them a try because by the sounds of it, everything we had right here was amazing. So I can't even imagine a full course meal. And it's already,
Time to spatchcock the turkey.
we learned how to spatchcock today.
The bones can be a little tough, but just persevere. You'll get through them, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
And remember, never throw away your bones. Put them in water, save them for a base for something that you're going to make your soups or whatever the case may be.
Don't forget. But we're over time now, so I hope you
Okay,
guys
all right.
had fun.
We
Yes,
It
we
was
did.
so
It
much fun
was
for us.
fun.
I hope
Thanks for
everybody
coming in.
who was watching
Thank you.
enjoyed the show. And if you did, you can click like, you can share with your friends, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be back again next Wednesday. And until then, have a great weekend here in the Finger Lakes.
See ya.